How's it going, everybody? Matt Bourie here from the American Casino Guidebook and the Jackpot Gents, and we have our Vegas guru, Anthony Curtis from Las Vegas Advisor. How you doing today, Anthony?
Pretty good, Matt. How are you doing?
Not too bad. And we're going to be talking about our Vegas news again, like we usually do. So I'll start it off with the same question I always ask and start with, how is business?
Mhm. Well, you know the answer to that one now because it's all over the airwaves and the newsprint and everything. Vegas is dying, so they
Oh,
say.
yeah, doom and gloom, baby.
Vegas is dying. It's all over. Not, but I mean,
Yeah, that's all just clickbait, right?
yeah, look, I was out somewhere the other day. We were trying to get a place to eat at the Wynn. We couldn't get a seating on a Monday night.
Oh,
We
yeah,
could not
well.
get a seating. We finally pulled one off for two at Allegro, the Italian joint in the bottom, but all the major things. Now, that said, Wynn is doing better than most because
Mhm.
Wynn relies on its brand, which is the upper
Upper
echelon.
echelon.
People, they're going to do what they're going to do regardless. So
Yep.
Wynn is not the perfect subject to look at, but overall, numbers are down everywhere. And,
Mhm.
last time we talked, I told you it was coming. The numbers,
Mhm.
actually, the last two times I told you about the hamburger special at Station Casino, and I said that
Mhm.
portends something dire. And
Mhm.
because Station never gives away anything, and they're doing a 5.99 hamburger 24/7.
Yeah.
And then the numbers started coming out, and I said it's starting to look bad, and it has continued and it's snowballing. And now the whole world is like, what's wrong with Vegas? So yeah, there's trouble. Everything's down. Visitation is down. The win is surprisingly the gambling win is surprisingly flat. It's steady, but
Mhm.
the big thing is visitation, which really hurts.
Yeah. Well, I guess the reason the gambling is not changed much to win on the tables is probably because the players that are there are like the people that win, the big players. They're not really affected much. But let
Right.
me ask you, you said you were having trouble getting a table Monday night. I know after COVID, when everything reopened, everything was busy. It was very hard to get tables, but it was because the restaurants weren't fully open. They only had like certain sections open. Are they doing that again, or it's just full?
No, I know what you're talking about. They were short staffed, right? For one thing, they were
Hmm.
short staffed, so they had limited tables and seatings. No, not now in most places.
Okay.
And I can't, again, that's just one example at the Win, which is, again, a little bit of an outlier.
Hmm.
But no, it was absolutely packed. The restaurant we were in, we got a seat for two, and there was every seat was taken. So.
Okay.
It's funny, man. It's hard to really put your finger on what's going on, but it's hard to argue with the numbers. And the
Hmm.
numbers really do show, and everything's down. People coming in by plane, people coming in from, whatever metric they're using to
Hmm.
follow it. Everything's down. And the gaming win on the strip has been down. When I said the gaming win has been kind of steady, the gaming win on the strip has been down, but it's been pretty much steady for the state. And,
Hmm.
if you talk about places neighborhoods of Vegas and things like that, it's kind of steady. But the strip
Hmm.
is down. People are tired of the high prices, and they're leery of the economy.
And I know you had mentioned one of the good specials that was going on was that 5.99 burger special at Stations. And another thing, big cut we saw was Resorts World had announced that over the summer they were ending all their resort fees. Summer's pretty much over now. Any word on if that's continuing or if they're going to end it?
Well, all of them that did that, Resorts did it, Sahara did it, Fontainebleau did it to its list.
Hmm.
They send out emails saying, no resort fees.
Hmm.
Um, some of them rescinded parking fees. Most of them run into September, so we're going to find out then. We don't know.
Oh,
We'll see.
okay.
I think, to be honest with you, I think it will be extended,
Hmm.
and more might come on. Just because, again, they tend to have real quick knee-jerk reactions and panic when these numbers start going south.
Yeah, I was doing an interview the other day with the guy, Vegas Advantage. Are you familiar with John Mahaffey?
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I did an interview with him and I was doing some research and I saw about resort fees at the Flamingo. In the middle of the week, you could get a room for $19 a night for the base room rate. And then it was $50 a night in resort fees. You're paying almost triple a night in resort fees that you are for the base room rate.
Yeah, and I think that's just dumb because I mean,
Hmm.
eventually people are going to realize that that's the price. It's 55 plus 19, right? It's
Yeah.
74. And to break it up that way just aggravates people. They don't really recognize the fact that if there was no resort fee, that would be tacked on to the base rate. So they should
Hmm.
just leave it like that. But they want to fool around. But also we've talked about this before. It also saves them money because they don't have to pay any of that resort fee to the online travel agencies, OTAs, that book
Hmm.
rooms.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, if Resorts World is ending resort fees for everybody, and those other places you mentioned, Sahara and Fontainebleau, are ending it for the people on their mailing lists, I don't see how somebody's going to want to pay, what's essentially $70 a night at the Flamingo when you can pay, a little bit more to stay at Resorts World or the Sahara, and then not, and then that's the actual price. There's no resort fee on top of it. So
Yeah.
it's eventually it's going to make its way down the chain. Others are going to have to do it, I think.
Which is what they do. I mean, that's how it
Mhm.
happens in Vegas. When one starts it, then the next comes along, the next comes along. I mean, this is a blatant advertisement for Las Vegas Advisor, but our members, we've got deals with Downtown Grand and the Rio that there's never a resort fee. And
Mhm.
all they do is, they get 30% off the base rate at the Rio and no resort fee. We're getting letters from people saying, I stayed for, $16 a night for 5 nights. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge savings. The two big costs of coming to Vegas, if you leave gambling out of it, are lodging and travel.
Mhm.
So you save big on something like that.
And speaking of the Rio, I know that we had spoken previously that the Rio had made some of their games better. You said that they had 9-6 jacks or better on pretty much every denomination now,
Yeah.
which is great. And if you're not familiar with Rio, it's a little bit off the strip. With this softening of the business, has anybody else started to follow suit? Are we finally starting to see some better gaming?
A little bit. And again, I haven't done all of the research on it for this month, but I'm hearing some things. For instance, and like these are some of the off places. Eureka, a little slot house called Eureka on Sahara. Not little, it's actually a pretty good sized place.
Hmm.
Is was dealing a 25 cent. Oh, I'm giving up this information here. That's all right. It's a 25% 10-6 double double game, which is 100.1% off the top. It's also a progressive.
Oh,
And
wow.
when I checked the progressive, it was at 102.7%, the return on that. So they
Wow.
just installed that. They just put it in. Um, I was at the Peppermill a couple of days ago, and they don't have a slot card there, but they've got 9-6 jacks or better on all denoms. They have the not so ugly deuces, a 99.73% game on
Hmm.
all denoms. So they're starting to pop up again. We're starting to see things. I talked to the people at the Plaza a little while ago. They said we want to lower our Keno hold. We want to make our Keno games better. So I mean, everybody's starting to think about it now.
Hmm. Not so ugly deuces. That's Jean Scott's favorite game when she used to travel.
Hey
And the
man,
Peppermill, that is the bar, right? Because there's no Peppermill Casino and
right?
Hotel in Vegas, right?
It's a bar and restaurant, which is right next to where the Riviera used to be on the Strip.
Yeah, near Circus
Nice
Circus,
place.
right?
Good park, yeah, across the street. Good parking there. It's free. Good food and expensive a little bit, but huge. I mean, you better bring a doggy bag, man. Bring a doggy
Hmm.
bag to that place. You're gonna get 2 for 1 on meals.
Now, speaking of Circus Circus, I wanted to get your information on this. I know we always talk about if another casino's for sale. I saw there's a Circus Circus is for sale for $4 billion. That sounds like the most outrageous thing I have heard in at least a decade in Las Vegas. What are your thoughts on
Well, first of all, when you said that, you remind me a little bit of Dr. Evil in the Austin Powers.
that? 4 billion.
um, yeah, well, that's Phil Ruffin. He's a horse trader from way back. Phil Ruffin is going to do what he does, and he always comes out on the right side of things. He's going to put up a number like that, and if somebody takes it, then hallelujah, man, go to town.
Yeah, I
Uh,
guess you can ask whatever you want for something. It doesn't mean
yeah,
somebody's going to pay it. So,
yeah, it's a starting number for him, and
uh-huh,
I mean, the word on the street is Ruffin is about as tight as they get, when it
uh-huh.
comes to what he wants to give away in the casino and so forth, and also in business dealings. But it served him very, very well. And,
Hmm.
I don't think he's going to get that number, but if it's up for sale, he's probably going to, they say he's a horse trader. We'll see what happens.
And then I know the last time we spoke, you were in the middle of doing your room rate survey. So I would assume that that's got to be done by now. So
Oh, yeah.
how are the room rates looking?
Oh, room rates were down. Again, that was another indicator, kind of somewhat of a leading indicator, although we were actually in it.
Hmm.
Um, for instance, last year, and again, these are all on base rates. So we always have to, put that red herring in there that that doesn't include, what you're paying with resort fees. But then we extend it beyond that, and we were using like the lowest base rates with the most reasonable resort fees, or places like Binions and Four Queens that don't charge a resort fee. And we were finding lots of rates, putting the two together, that were under $60 a night. So, not on a strip. You're just not going to get it on a strip. You're going to get an extra 20 to 30 at the best places, the best deals on the strip. But if you're willing to stay off, like places like the Rio came in the lowest, $12.
Hmm.
So, you go $12 and use our coupon, and you're staying for $12 a night plus tax. So
Nice.
yeah, the numbers were down all around. And by down, I mean in a good way for the consumer.
Hmm. Now, here's a funny story I just saw yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, I got to ask Anthony about this." Did you see the incident at the XS nightclub a few days ago?
Oh, is that the Bieber thing?
Yeah, there was the Bieber. A kid showed up that looked like Justin Bieber, pretended to be Justin Bieber. They believed him enough that they let him on stage to perform, and then
Yeah,
apparently he racked up a $10,000 bar tab before they realized he wasn't Justin Bieber, and he's now
well,
banned for life.
right. All I've seen are photos, and he sure looks like him. I can
He
tell you that.
did.
It's not like I would know Justin Bieber if he was standing next to me per se, but when I know what I'm
Uh-huh.
looking at, I'm like, he sure does look like him. And by all reports, he sounds like him too. Apparently, he's a Justin Bieber impersonator professionally. So
Oh,
what he's doing with this, okay, so he got slapped with the 10,000 fine and 86, but he got all kinds of promo. So that's
okay.
probably was the goal and what he did. But man, apparently he got away with it for quite a while before somebody finally said, no, that ain't him, man.
Now, I guess the next question is I know that the MGM takeover at the Cosmo is finally done because I see all my influencer friends playing there and I see the MGM on the screen. Now, do you know? Because I know Cosmo used to have some pretty decent games in the high limit room. They had like 8-5 bonus poker and stuff. And I know that MGM was kind of notorious for a lot of their full pay machines. They wouldn't give you either comps at all, or it'd be double the price on the comps. Do you know if they ended up pulling that in the high limit room at Cosmo?
I honestly don't know for sure, but I haven't
Hmm.
heard anything along those lines. So
Hmm.
typically, when there's something that's a big wholesale change, word gets to us one way or another. I haven't heard
Hmm.
anything. I'm making a
Okay.
note as I'm talking to you to check that for the next LVA for the September issue, to take a look and see if they fiddled with their games at all. But
I know it
man,
was a 100 play machine, so maybe not if people are betting that much. Hopefully not, but it was a quarter 100 play, and I think the minimum you could start at was like 20 hands for 25 a spin. So
yeah, I don't. I will look and check, but as of now, I don't know, and as of now, I haven't heard anything. So feet to the flame, right? Feet to the flame. I would say no, it's still the same.
hmm. And then I know last time we spoke about the Fountain Blue, you had said that they were finally starting to get their act together and start remembering that they had a casino. And then you said that they've lowered their resort fees for some of their people. Are they any more progress happening there? Do we
It's
have
you
any
know what?
faith in them?
It's actually not knowing that I was going to do this with you. I actually ended up spending a little bit of time there
Hmm.
because I had friends in town who were staying there, and they invited me, and it's looking better. I mean, again, everything's down everywhere. So of course it's not like they had a million people at the tables, but their tables were like reasonable. I talked to some people about, decent games in their high limit room and talking about live games there.
Hmm.
Um, which by the way, I don't know if you heard about Golden Gate taking out their machines, but we could talk about that after. I mean, excuse me, their live table rooms. We
Yes,
can
I
talk about that
forgot
after.
about that. I knew there was something I forgot to add. So well, I'll add
Yeah,
that in. We'll get to that in a minute.
yeah, we can talk about that in a minute. But I liked Fountain Blue. I mean, the last time I was there, I went into the sports book. They have a really underrated sports book, a really big and nice viewing screen up there. It spans the whole room, that sort of thing. We ordered food, and I was shocked. I mean, the food was excellent. and
Hmm.
reasonable too. You know, these are like basically $20 plates.
Hmm.
One of the best French dips I've had in a long time. You know, I eat my stuff rare. You know, I eat all my stuff rare. They brought it rare as can be, man. And to get a rare one on a French dip is kind of wild. They had some like what do you call it? A shrimp flatbread. You know,
Hmm.
it was great. So I mean, I'm kind of like, you know, favorably looking at Fontainebleau these days if you can get past, you know, the high price for their rooms, but maybe a place to visit to watch a game or something.
Yeah, I know I went there the last time I was in town, which I think was October of last year with my fiance, and we met some family friends there. They were staying at the Fontainebleau. We met them at the bar, and their cocktail program was very, very good. And then they even brought you like a bowl of like little snacks for free when you ordered a
Yeah.
drink, and they were like really, really fancy and really, really good.
And not only that, but their comping policy is very good at the
Oh
sports
wow.
bar. You can drink top shelf stuff. I mean, basically up to $25 drinks without them batting an eye. And if you're playing more, I'm sure you can do better if you're into that. Doesn't help me much because I'm usually getting a Budweiser or something.
Yeah.
But you know, so I don't get to cash in on that. The only thing is you got to put, just so people know, if you want to go drink at the bar there, you have to load it with $50. Like, so
Hmm.
what? You know, what if you have to load
Okay.
it with $500? Whatever, you're
Yeah.
gonna play what you're gonna play,
Yeah.
but you load it with $50 and then they'll comp you if you're playing, you know, just regular speed.
Sweet. And now I know the last time we spoke, Virgin had ended their affiliation with Mohegan Sun, and they've now taken over their casino. And you said first nothing had happened. Have they any changes going on over there, or still?
Same thing. I never hear a darn thing out of Virgin. The only thing I hear about Virgin is their shag room. We had talked about Austin Powers a little earlier. You know,
Oh
they
yeah.
call it the shag room, which supposedly is a really good live music venue.
Hmm.
And so that's up your alley. You need to check that one out. But I'm always seeing names of bands that I just barely recognize, you know, which
Hmm.
is so there's somebody. But they're that's all I hear about them. I don't hear about any changes in any other way, major restaurants or anything like that.
Hmm.
So nothing much there. But getting back to the Golden Gate, that was a big that was a big surprise. I mean,
Yeah.
all of their table games are coming out, and that's
Hmm.
they're in the process of doing that. And by the end
They're
of
going
September,
machines only.
yeah, there'll be these hybrid digital table games. Which look out, man! When you talk about predictions, look out. There's going to be more and more places doing this for a number of reasons. You know, most of it is cost savings and you know, the workforce and all that kind of stuff. But see, as these games get better and better, and as the new customers get younger and younger, of course, you know, new 21s
Hmm.
coming in, it's a natural progression. And it's so kind of like happening now that we've actually we're on the verge of signing a book about it, about
Oh
the
wow.
electronic games. Yeah.
So now this one kind of made sense to me because Derek Stevens owns the Golden Gate. He also owns the D and Circa, and they're all within 5 minute walk at the absolute most of each other. So I could kind of see that because if they can't go to the Golden Gate to play, they can just go to his other two properties that are very, very close. So I could kind of understand that one, cut a little overhead and still get those same customers, hopefully at your other two properties there. So that one kind of makes sense to me.
It's just kind of a little bit sad to see because Golden Gate's one of the oldest, if not the oldest, casino, longest running establishments. I think maybe El Cortez might be longer for something, I forget, you know, the casino itself or whatever. But Golden Gate's right there, and it had its clientele. You know, they had the people, the dealers are dressed up like mobster guys and stuff, and it was a fun place to play. The crap table was always happening there. Blackjack
Mm-hmm.
tables they had, you know, several. So it was surprising. Um, I hate it because we had some really good table game coupons there that are gonna probably go away. But
Oh yeah, we used to have some good match plays there as well.
yeah, so yeah, they've always been good at that, and we're gonna probably lose that value, but you know we'll replace it with something else.
And now, what? Any more news coming out about the Guitar Hotel? Because I know it just kept getting delayed and delayed. But I mean, with how the business is softening right now, it might end up working out well for them.
Yeah, actually, for them, yeah, not to be actually open, this is about the best time they could possibly do it.
Hmm.
Um, Not a lot of news coming out of there. Every once in a while, there's an update saying that they are absolutely on schedule for I think it's like late 2027 or
Hmm.
early 28, but probably late 2027.
Hmm.
Um, we don't see it's covered. The outside is covered with the fences, with the the tarps and stuff. So you don't see much, but you start to see things poking out of the top. So they're absolutely working there, and they're building that thing.
Hmm. Oh, then trust me, you'll see that guitar soon because we got the 43-story one or whatever it is down here, and I think they're going even bigger in Vegas,
Yeah,
right?
I think so, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, okay, so I always have to ask this: the baseball team. What is the deal? Do you have a baseball team? Do you not? They tore down the Tropicana to build a baseball stadium, and then I was hearing there's no baseball team. So what the hell's happening there?
Well, no baseball team yet. Obviously, nowhere to play here in Vegas. They actually could if they wanted to. We have ballparks here where the Aviators are called. It's minor league team. They could
Hmm.
play there if they wanted to up in the west side of town. Right now, supposedly they're building, but they're not doing much because I don't know why they did it, but they put a live cam in there where you can actually watch and you can see that nothing's happening. I mean, it's like they're moving dirt piles around. The main thing you
Hmm.
see is that one dirt pile went from here to there, and
Hmm.
there's really no construction. And they claim they're working on the foundation and so forth. We'll
Yep.
see. But talking about foundation, they need their financial foundation, and their financial foundation has not been set because they're still wrangling about, who's going to where the money's going to come from, the tax burden and everything else. So
Yep.
there are certain people. We had Scott Robin from Vital Vegas on our show, and he swore up and down unequivocally, in the interview that it ain't gonna happen. So,
Hmm.
you got your naysayers, you got other people saying, BS it is. So we'll see, but nothing public on it.
Okay. And now, what about the buffets? I always got to ask, any more buffets coming back? I know last time you had said there were some, what was it, limited buffets or whatever the word you used, where some
Yes.
days casinos were converting to buffet or restaurants were converting to buffets.
Yeah, we call them spot buffets.
That's
So
it.
yeah, the one at Resorts World at Genting Palace is, the best one. For example, they have it a couple times a month, excuse me, a couple times a week. The House of Blues has their, Sunday gospel brunch, which was only once a month. Now it's 2 and 3 times a month. So it's kind of funny, but no dedicated new buffets yet. But it's almost like they want to. When you see
Hmm.
these sort of things happening, it's almost like they're looking at it going, darn, as it turns out, that was a really good way to market. So
Yep.
I don't think, again, I don't think the buffets are anything close to dead. And I think we're just waiting to see who's next, if any.
Hmm. And now, speaking of dining, I saw another story I just saw. My dad actually sent it to me this morning to ask you about is at the Hell's Kitchen, Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen, and it just ties into the stupid fees in Vegas. They now charge you $20 per person to have a table that has a view of the kitchen. Have you heard of this yet?
Yeah. That's the latest thing is they're charging for seating all around. A buddy of mine went to took his girlfriend was taking his girlfriend to top of the top of Paris, the Eiffel
Uh-huh.
Tower restaurant, and a window seat was 120 per person. It's
Jesus.
absurd. I mean, I can't imagine anybody paying that, but 120 per person.
That's
Um,
wild. That's $240. That's more than most people spend on a whole dinner just for the seats.
I know. And so who's going to pay that? Some rich guy trying to impress some girl.
Uh-huh.
I mean, so I guess they figure they can get it. There's enough of those around. But yeah, different types of upcharges for seating is the latest. It's just sickening. I mean, it's
That's
just every time you
nuts.
hear about it, it's just gross. And but well, we'll see what happens. If the numbers keep going in this direction, then they're going to have to make some adjustments. They can't keep doing this. People are
Hmm.
tired of it. I mean, we hear a lot from our customers, and we read everything or I read everything that comes out about it, and that's what everyone's complaining about. And now it's
Hmm.
absolutely economic uncertainty has a lot to do with it as well. And when you
Yep.
talk about Canadians aren't coming because they hate America and all this stuff because of Trump and what he said and blah blah blah. I think Canadians aren't coming because the exchange rate is 131. So they're paying $1.31 for every dollar, of their
Hmm.
money. And they
Yeah.
don't want to pay that extra 30%,
Hmm.
tax because of the exchange rate. So there's all kinds of things that are contributing to the problems that the casinos are having, but
Hmm.
gouging, there's no doubt about it. I was just on the radio, KNPR, where I brought up the term the gouge, and they're like, "Ooh, I never heard that, but that's perfect." And well, yeah, it's
Hmm.
perfect because that's exactly what's going on. And they're gonna have to tone that down or stop it.
Hmm. Well, half these big corporations, they'll cut off their nose to spite their face. They make some of the dumbest decisions ever. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, right.
But two last questions for you. One is, are there any new shows or anything like that?
No, the news on shows is not good. The a lot of them just keep moving around, moving around. One of the best bargain shows was Misbehaved Mavericks at the Plaza downtown, and that one closed.
Mm.
They couldn't make it happen down there, even at a great price and free parking and everything else. So right now, the bargain show, in our opinion, is Jen Kramer Magic Show at the Westgate, and we've got a 2-for-1 to that. So using that, a couple people can see it for about $45 total.
Oh,
And
sweet.
it's a great show. She's very, very good, although it's mostly weekends. I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Um, let's see, what was I going to tell you? There's something else. Oh, I know. One more thing. The latest, again, from Station. They
Hmm.
now have $1.99 frozen margaritas 24/7 and at
Oh,
all the
wow.
bars at most of their casinos. And I had one the
Nice.
other day. I went to check it out, and it was just a nice, balmy 110 here. And I had just told somebody, I said, you know what I really want? I just want to go get us like a slushy somewhere. It just sounds good. It's like so hot. I got a taste for this. I go, oh, let's go try this, this margarita. Man, it was awesome. I'm telling you, $1.99. They serve it in a cup. It's like a 12-ounce cup, but it's that it's a slushy cup, and there's a fair amount of it's salsa tequila. There's a fair amount of that. You can get a second shot for an extra $2. So here's Station Casino again saying, okay, now we're going to give you this. And so if you
Hmm.
get a chance, you're coming to Vegas and you're drop into a Station Casino, go to the bar and get one of those things, man. I was ready to take one for the road. It was so good.
Oh, awesome. And the last question, I got to ask because of my dad, how is the Sphere doing?
Hey man, jackpot for the Sphere. They just announced that they just got profitable. I mean,
Woo!
since they opened, it was nothing but a money pit, right? It was
Uh-huh.
just a money pit, and they just announced that they had a profitable, I think, a quarter, and apparently they're starting to turn things around. So good for them. I mean, they sure took a chance. They put a lot of money into it. It's expensive as hell, but supposedly it's great. I still haven't set foot in there. It's not,
Yeah, me neither. I couldn't bring myself to pay that much to go see a movie, and I'm
well,
sure as hell not paying that much to go see a concert.
yeah, well, we did it. I mean, we sent somebody in there, but I wasn't the one who went. So we went in,
Hmm.
D. Castleman went in and paid the money, and we reviewed it because we have to. That's our
Hmm.
job. And he loved it. The review was great. He says, "Man, it's a lot of money, but it's quite an experience." And now they're switching it from Postcards from Earth, which was the movie, to
Hmm.
an immersive Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
So,
that sounds cool. I know there's always been a lot of psychedelic stuff around the Wizard of Oz for years and
yeah,
years, so I'm sure they'll do something wild with that.
yeah. And if you want to fortify yourself before going in, it might be even better. Who knows?
All right, Anthony Curtis, thank you very much for joining us today. As always, if people want to learn more about you and your work, where can they do that?
LasVegasAdvisor.com. Come on over. We've got a bunch of free blogs there, although a lot of our site is paywalled. It's $3 a month to be able to go in and get all the question of the day and all of our blogs and the whole thing. Or just watch our YouTube thing, man. I'm telling you, we do one a week. And this week
Hmm.
is Friday, this Friday. I don't know if this will drop before then. I think it will. And we do that once a month. We do an interview show. We do an update once a month. And we do a jackpot show. That's the one that's really interesting, the jackpot show we've been doing. But just go to YouTube and look up Las Vegas Advisor, and we give a lot away there. A lot of things that are behind our paywall. We don't want our show to suck, so we give it up, right?
Yeah, and I'll put a link down in the description to his YouTube channel, so make sure you go follow that. And I've got reels and reels and reels of the jackpots from our Jackpot Gents channel, so I'll have to send a bunch over.
Cool, man. That's great. That's great.
All right, Anthony, thank you as always.
All right. Thanks, Matt.